I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me tell you what's coming up on the show today. Trump and Macron are broing it out. We'll be talking about that. Hilarious reactions to Joy Reid's firing. And is Dan Crenshaw threatening Tucker? I can't wait to talk about that. Guys, all that and so much more coming up on the show today. You guys can reach us and see all the things at chicksontheright.com/links. That's where all of our social links are, all of our links, period. That's where you can find all the things chicksontheright.com/links. Also, a lot of it going around, a lot of stuff. Like everybody I know in my inner circle has been sick. So you don't need to go to urgent care. You guys can visit allfamilypharmacy.com/chicks. And then use code CHICKS10 to get 10% off your entire order. Get whatever you need. They have all the things that you need. And you should have that stuff on hand, so you don't have to sit in one of those places where it's like a doc in the box where everybody's sick and hacking on you. So allfamilypharmacy.com/chicks. Do that. Also,
and it's code CHICKS10.
Code CHICKS10. Yes. 10. Yes, ma'am. Another thing I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, we wanted to bring to everybody's attention, was that Pastor Shelley's mom passed away.
She has had a go of it, man.
She has. And if you are a praying person, we would appreciate your prayers for her because, man, she has had a rough couple of weeks and we love Pastor Shelley so much. So we're thinking about you, Pastor Shelley, and praying for you.
Yes, indeed we are.
And then also another, housekeeping item is that Mock has posted a video of her house on the outside. Is it the outside?
A little bit of the outside and inside the garage. And I know people have been like, I want to see the elevator. So there's a little.
Did you get the elevator?
Video that includes the elevator. So if you're a claustrophobic person, you're not going to like it. But I can't get the main house yet because there's still too much work going on in it. But I will at some point. So I'm trying to create other entertaining videos in the meantime. So if you're an insider on Facebook or you're a supporter on Locals, you can see the video yesterday and the video today.
There you go. Yeah. And at some point I'll get some of my cows because that's all I got. I got cows. You guys can see the cows. Linus is very lovable. I'll post some of Linus. Okay. So what's going on? Things and stuff,
happening. Man. A lot of things and stuff. I feel like today's show is going to be a little disjointed because there's a lot of different kinds of stories going on that have nothing to do with each other. So as we say in this biz, it's going to be a mishmash of a show today, all up in here. And so let's get into some things and some stuff, shall we? We'll start off with some sad news, and that is Roberta Flack has passed away at the tender old age of 88. Killing me softly with his song.
You know what?
What?
I actually like the Fugees version better of that song.
I love that version. I love that.
Unpopular opinion, but
it's a great version.
I love Lauryn Hill and I love the Fugees. Not saying, but Roberta Flack was awesome, but
she was legendary.
But it's one of the best remakes ever, honestly.
That's sad, but apparently her death was very peaceful. She lived a nice long life. And so
88.
Thanks for the memories, Roberta Flack.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that happened. And also, we talked yesterday about how Joy Reid lost her job. There were other MSNBC folks that were losing their jobs. There are shakeups happening all up at NBC and MSNBC right now. Lester Holt is also out at NBC Nightly News. He's still going to stay doing other shows on NBC, but he's not going to be doing the nightly news any longer. And then also at MSNBC, there's news that the other people have lost their jobs that I don't know. Jonathan Capehart, I definitely know his name, and I'm super glad to see him go. But Ayman Moyadeen and Katie Fang, no idea who those people are.
I bless you not. I don't know either. I have no idea.
No idea.
Mm-mm.
And we're going to have a lot more to get to when it comes to Joy Reid and the whole reaction to her leaving. It was her last show last night. So we'll have a little bit of that as well coming up later in the show. But
at least
there's a lot of movement.
Yeah, at least they let her have a last show, because
and what was weird is that she dressed in an MSNBC emblazoned like jogging suit with her show name on one, like on one side, and then the MSNBC logo on the other. And I was like, that is weird. It's just weird.
Have that. Like it's weird. It just in general, not just, not just for the fact that she wore it but also that you have it. Like it's weird. Are you a NASCAR? Are you an actual NASCAR? Just like emblazoning. What is that?
It was odd. It was a little bit odd.
Very, very odd. Mm-hmm.
And then also yesterday we talked about the big staffing news, for lack of a better word. And that was, of course, that Dan Bongino getting the number 2 spot at the FBI. And Kash Patel wrote a very lovely message about that on X yesterday. And I would like you to read it if you would.
Yes.
Please.
Let me get my eyes ready.
It is.
Oh my God, they're always so long. Tremendous news for law enforcement and the future of American justice. I am proud to welcome Dan Bongino as the next deputy director of the FBI, a warrior and lifelong public servant. Dan has dedicated his career to protecting this country, beginning with his time in the NYPD, where he served in one of the toughest precincts, the 75th, before spending more than a decade as a special agent in the United States Secret Service. His leadership, integrity, and deep commitment to justice make him the ideal choice to help lead the FBI at this critical time. He's a cop's cop. With Pam Bondi as our new Attorney General, we are assembling a team focused on restoring public trust, upholding the rule of law, and ensuring justice is served. Dan is stepping away from an incredibly successful career because he believes in this mission. Together, we are ready to put this mission first. Welcome aboard, Dan. The country needs strong leadership, and I know you will serve with honor and dedication. He is stepping away from a pretty sweet gig, right?
Yeah. A very lucrative, sweet gig.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a sacrifice. I can see it as nothing other than a big sacrifice. And
I totally agree.
People are obviously, they have a lot of thoughts about whether he is qualified. And we'll get to some of those ridiculous thoughts here momentarily. But first, we do need to show a couple of clips from his show yesterday when he finally got to talk about it, because he's known about this for a little while and finally got to, talk about it and actually got a little bit emotional. So we've got a couple of clips from yesterday's Dan Bongino report. Here they are.
Folks, I'm sure by now you've heard the news. Wait, do I have it? Oh, no, I already took it. Sorry. Someone gave me the man card, gave me like an actual man card one day. Like it's a little, looks like a credit card, kind of a joke, obviously. So let me just turn that in right now because this may be a little bit emotional, and let me apologize in advance. And I got a call from the president, and he couldn't have been nicer. And I obviously keep the contents of it between us, but I think you get the gist about what it was about. And kind of broke down a bit because it was, this is now real. So President, Attorney General Bondi, and now Director, gosh, that sounds good to say, FBI Director Kash Patel offered this role, a role I expressed an interest in. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you, you see, it's hard for me. I'm going to accept the role proudly as the Deputy Director, the number 2 spot at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It's not going to be the last show, but we've only got a few more left with you. So obviously we're going to be working with a team of people to make this transition from me, political commentator Dan, to Deputy Director of the FBI Dan. Those are different roles, require different skills. Skills I have and have used before and I plan to use again. It's going to hurt to leave you. But I am going in this clear-eyed. Vision of President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, and Director Patel. I am going to do my job to implement that vision. And I can tell you right now, we are going to try our best Every single thing I have in me, every single strand of DNA cell in my body is going to be dedicated towards keeping this homeland safe, no matter what.
I love that.
Isn't that great?
He's totally qualified. Now, if everybody in Congress could do what he does and like just do their job and not have a podcast, talking to you, Dan Crenshaw, talking to you. Always talking to you, Dan Crenshaw.
You know what I love about you and Dan Crenshaw is that
Tell
I have
me.
saved that story for last, and you
You
have to
know.
wait the whole show.
Cannot stand him. Yeah.
But I feel like you're going to be bringing him up as often as
Oh,
you
I
can
will.
throughout the show, to my endless amusement.
I try to bring him up as often as I can, just in general, just because of my actual, just palpable disdain for him. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be good times. You
Mhm.
guys do not want to miss that part of the show coming up later in today's program. You also do not want to miss out on the opportunity to have your pet try Ruff Greens, which is a premium nutritional supplement put together by naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black for dogs and now also for cats. They have Meow Greens for cats, just like Ruff Greens for dog. This right here that I'm holding, this is a Jumpstart trial bag. This is the free bag that you get when you just cover shipping when you go to Ruff, R-U-F-F, chicks.com and you use code chicks. You can try this bag right here. You can try it for free. Or the Meow Greens for kitty cats come in these like individual serving little packets, which are super
packets,
handy.
Yeah. Like electrolyte packets, but they're little kitty packets.
Yeah.
For Ruff
Yeah.
Greens. Yeah.
They're fantastic. And right now, Dr. Black is encouraging everybody to try Ruff Greens and take part in the 90-day challenge, where you can see such a huge difference in your pet from when you start on day 1 till the 90-day mark, where you're going to see noticeable things in their coat, their behavior, their energy level, their breath, their happiness. They get shiny.
Yeah,
They really do. So we encourage you, if you haven't already, plus they love the taste. So there's just no downside at all. You can transform your dog's health the natural way, or your cat's health the natural way. Just go to ruffchicks.com and then use code CHICKS. Do it. So quick note about Dan Bongino. This was such a treat to watch. Now, knowing that we know he's going to be second in command at the FBI, this was from several days ago when he knew, okay, but we didn't know. And you have to love everything that he is saying in this clip from several days ago.
Adam Schiff so worried. Folks, I strongly encourage you to go back and take another look today at the Russia collusion hoax. I know it's a story that's old and a lot of people want to move on. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't want to move on.
I don't either.
We had the FBI in conjunction with the Department of Justice, officials in Congress, foreign governments, and intel people fabricate a story, invent a story that could have caused and done serious long-term harm to international relations with a nuclear-powered foe. It's kind of a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
I'm not letting it go. And you listen to me. This is going to be very important in the coming days. I'm not letting this go. I want to find out what happened, because it can never happen again. Not to a Democrat, not to a Republican, not to a Libertarian, not to any United States citizen. You do not get to alter or try to change the course of electoral politics by fabricating a story, hijacking the justice system then to give the patina of truth to a fake story. You don't get to do that. Why do I bring that up now? Because who was the ringmaster of that circus? Yes, Adam Schiff.
Uh-huh.
And no, I'm not letting it go.
Thank God. Thank God he's not letting it go. You know, for the people like me who can't let things go, Dan Crenshaw. Oh, he's coming up again. No, it's true. I love this. I love it so much. You know that Adam Schiff is just shaking right now.
I hope so.
Losing his mind. I hope so too. It's about damn time.
The problem is that now there's all these reports about people in the FBI who are scrambling to delete all kinds of evidence before, Kash Patel, before Dan Bongino can get their hands on it. They are rushing to cover their asses. And I hate that. I mean, I hope that
I hate that too.
There's a way to retrieve all the information that they need to just throw this guy away for the rest of his existence.
Well, knowing our government, everything is probably on paper, so they can just burn it instead of having to delete like actual files online. Because my God, you see how antiquated our systems are. It's
probably stuff on floppy disks,
or floppies in a cave somewhere. They'll be fine.
Well, not everybody is happy about Dan Bongino, and one of the people that is unhappy is Andy McCabe, who was bitching about it to Anderson Cooper, and there are not enough eye rolls.
Well, first of all, what's your reaction to this appointment?
Oh.
I have great concerns for the FBI and for its people. You're taking someone who knows nothing about the organization, has no experience with the FBI, and put him in the highest position an agent can possibly occupy. He'll be responsible on a day-to-day basis for all of the FBI's intelligence collection and investigative authority. People will walk into his office one after another every single day and confront him with some of the most confounding problems in unbelievably important investigations, issues in which the safety of our country is hanging in the balance. And they're going to expect him to look back at them, make quick decisions based on the law, based on the facts, not on his politics. And so I'm scratching my head as to how he's going to be able to do that. There's not a single deputy director in the history, the 117-year history of the organization, who didn't have that role until they had already spent an entire career in the FBI, understanding its people, its authority, its capabilities, and its mistakes, the places where you have to be really careful to keep the wheels on the road.
And that's probably why it's in the condition that it's in. It's because it's been same old, same old. It's been career people who are also political. I think the MAGA podcaster can handle some toughness. I think you see they had that in the Chiron. Like it's like he's done nothing else in his life. Not saying that being a MAGA podcaster is a bad thing. It's just that that's not the only thing that he's done, and that's all they concentrate on. They did the same thing with Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
He's just a guy that's on. He does talk, television. Actually, no. You're wrong. They had past,
and I think at this point, hiring somebody just like Andy McCabe said, who is a career FBI employee, is not going to restore trust. The reason people have no trust is because it's always been these career politician-y people who have been in the FBI and risen through the ranks, and it's same old, just like you said. We need a shakeup, and that's what I think everybody's ready for.
And he is highly qualified to do this. It's not like he's never served a law enforcement role.
Right.
My God. He's probably done just as much, if not more, than a lot of the people who are the career, FBI folks. That argument doesn't stand. And I get so sick of them just pinpointing it like he only does one thing. He how old is this guy? He's got to be 55, 60 years old, Dan Bongino?
I think I always imagined him being early 50s. I could be wrong.
Early 50s? Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot in his life. It's kind of like people saying to us, you've only done podcasting. Really? Okay. Because between the two of us, we have like half a century of corporate experience and other experiences. So it's like a culmination of things. He's highly qualified to do this job.
Well, Abby Phillips was not accepting that argument from Scott Jennings, but he told her exactly how he is qualified, and here that is.
Hey, address one issue. You just denigrated Bongino's law enforcement credentials. He was a cop and a Secret Service agent. You denigrated his academic credentials. He has a master's degree.
Just because he's a police officer doesn't make him qualified to run a 38,000 person, $11 billion budget agency, just like Pete Hegseth.
But you know what does? Because he
National Guardsman or whatever he was, doesn't either. Thank you for your
confidence
service.
And the pleasure of the president.
Whose judgment is terrible.
And I'm sorry that you are not yet over the outcome of the election,
No,
in our
because
system,
look at what's happening
we
to our
elect
country.
people, we
And I'll
elect
never
people,
be over it,
and they
Scott.
appoint
This is
people to
dismantling our
office.
democracy
That's
in
the
front
way
of
it
our
works.
eyes.
Oh,
and you
my
guys are okay
God.
with
Who
it.
had a city that was smaller than the amount of people that live on this block, and he was the Secretary of Transportation. You had the guy who was stealing luggage. I mean, I think anyone who's defending at any point defending the Biden administration.
But this is the FBI.
So?
Correct.
Yeah, and this is someone who has a career in law enforcement for many years.
Freedom is at stake.
Does Dan Bongino have the qualifications to be the second person in charge of the FBI?
Yeah.
Yes, he has law enforcement, he has academic, and again, let me just stress this. I've mentioned
So when
this
you
before.
stack up
they
his
serve at the
credentials
pleasure of the
against-
president.
Let
That's
him
the political
answer.
appointment.
I know that is the answer to every question, is that Donald Trump wants it, so therefore it is good.
For political
But when-
appointments,
but
yes.
when we look at, we're talking about people who are qualified and not, and you look at his resume and compare it to Republican and Democrat nominees for that same position, is he qualified?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm not sure all the people that have been appointed in the past have covered themselves in glory. And some of them have done a terrible job and gotten in lots of trouble.
Look,
and this is a
I wanna get
reform-minded
to-
administration.
I wanna
They got
get to
outsiders.
one of-
That one woman, I just could not. I couldn't. I would start screaming.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. I seriously don't know. I would be a complete biatch if I were on that show. Mop. I just saying. Like, I mean, she was interrupting him. She would not let him answer.
I know.
And
But he held his own. I mean, he was
he
great.
totally did. But like, they won't let him. They won't let him fully answer a question that drives me insane.
But somehow in the way that they do that, he ends up coming out on top every time.
Well,
because
right,
he
'cause
looks
he's-
like the calm, smarter one.
Well, and he is, and he's exponentially smarter than than everybody collectively in that on that panel. Yeah.
I love that. Love it. And then speaking of podcasters rising into federal ranks, there was this announcement yesterday. Graham Allen, who said on his show yesterday morning that he had been asked by the president and Pete Hegseth to serve the country again. I'm not clear on the role, but it is something within the Pentagon. He's going to be doing something within the Pentagon.
Okay.
So
I'm
Graham
surprised
Allen also
he
climbing.
hasn't called us. Why hasn't Trump called us to like serve in his administration as shoe czars?
Probably because at this point, all I wear is slippers.
But we can still pick out cute shoes. You know?
That's true. That's true.
That's the thing. It's all about the experience, you guys. It's about the experience, and we have it. We just don't do it anymore.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
Now, according to Brianna Morello, there is outright panic happening at the FBI. She says pure panic. As I exclusively reported yesterday, FBI Director Kash Patel has fired several employees. Hundreds of agents are being forced to transfer or resign. FBI employees are arguing over whether their actions these last 4 years were legal. According to a source, one employee arguing their actions were legal because they had court orders, while another reminding him that they lied to the judges to get the court orders. Accountability is underway.
Listen, if you're freaking out, then you did something wrong.
Right.
I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. If you're like having a hissy shit fit over, oh my God, these guys are coming in. These guys who are rule followers who want to make sure that justice takes place in this country. Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go after the bad guys and not the good guys. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're freaking out, I have zero sympathy.
Now, an interesting thing happened at HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Everybody, of course, in the federal government is super mad at Elon Musk right now. And somehow hackers were able to get access to all of the television monitors throughout the Housing and Urban Development Agency. And they posted a video that was repeating itself on a loop for 5 straight minutes. And it's AI generated, obviously, of Trump sucking on the toes of Elon Musk. So this is what everybody was seeing for a while. And it said, long live the real king on it. And I got to tell you, I get concerned when people are able to bust in, to hack into government agencies. Yeah. They need to fix that. Okay. This is not okay.
Oh, it's not okay at all. And
not okay.
And then this is like deranged. Like the person or people who did this, they need to have their heads examined. And they called JD Vance weird, y'all. Remember?
Right? I know.
These people are sick. I just, so that root them out. We got to get them out.
Yeah. And then I so wanted to show this poll to, who was it? James Carville, who was like, oh yeah, I like those Harvard Harris polls. Trump's approval is still 52%, his disapproval at 43%. And overwhelmingly, people in America are saying that they support the things that Trump is doing. So the more Democrats push and resist and fight against, I just think it strengthens the Republicans.
I totally agree with you 100%. Yeah. And I mean, these polls are such bull crap anyway. Like, seriously, I've never liked any poll ever, not a poll, because who are they polling? I've never been polled. Have you guys? I mean, maybe some of you have been polled, but my poll is getting a pulse of the people around me. How do you feel about things? What's going on in your family? What's your, what are the issues that you care about? This is the thing. And not a lot of people around me are Democrats at this point, because they're not aligning themselves with liberals who are just screaming about everything all the time. They just want stuff fixed in this country, and they're sick of being stolen from, frankly.
Well, I do see there are still some real dug-in people that I'm connected with in various ways. Like, for example, my realtor posted this giant diatribe on Facebook couple weeks ago where I just couldn't believe how vicious he was. And he knows where I stand, but he was just like, to anybody that still follows me who is a Trump supporter, just unfollow me right now because you're basically the worst of the worst. I mean, just went on and on and on. Another woman that used to be a case manager for my son Thomas, also, even just yesterday, was like, I don't understand how anybody can support Trump. Please explain it to me. And all the comments responding to her were like, I know, it's just so discouraging. So there's definitely people out there who are upset.
Without question. Right.
And I don't get it. And I don't engage because I don't want to get into fights with these people. I want to still like them. You know what I mean? I still have respect and appreciation for things that they've done for me in my life. Yeah, and I hate that it's become so ugly.
But if somebody says to me, defriend me or unfriend me or whatever immediately if you voted for Trump, okay. All right. I can make that happen. Bye.
It's just so disappointing.
It is disappointing. But I mean, if that's your baseline, then we probably shouldn't be friends. It's probably best that we're not, because we're just I don't have a lot in common with those people. Right. And if that's grounds, me voting for a particular person is, I mean, come on. Yeah. Bye.
Well, but because there are still people like that out there, that is even more of a reason that you should have an emergency plan for you and your family.
You in danger, girl.
And every good emergency plan includes emergency food kits, which you should be getting from our friends at ReadyWise.com, because they have the best tasting meal kits around, especially the soup and especially the snacks. They are amazing. Plus, they have these amazing self-heating meal kits, which are, you just add water and then like magic happens and you have a hot meal and it tastes amazing. I don't understand how they do it. I'm not going to pretend to understand the technology. I just know that it exists and it works and it's amazing. And that's one of many different products that you can get to put together your whole emergency preparedness kit together. You got your bottled water, great. But you also need emergency food, and you should be getting it from ReadyWise.com. When you use code CHICKS20 at checkout, you will get 20% off your entire purchase. So again, ReadyWise.com, code CHICKS20.
I have just something I want to bring up really quick. Somebody about 3-4 minutes ago said something about not knowing how to become an insider. So we should probably remind people how to become an insider or a supporter.
Yes. Well, always go to chicksontheright.com/links. And there are links to both of those groups right there. Mm-hmm. I think with Facebook Insiders, I'm a little bit concerned that currently people can't become new insiders because Facebook is once again throttling us and we're in trouble for some reason. I don't know what we did.
Even though Mark Zuckerberg said he wasn't going to do that anymore.
Right. But we're apparently, we're in trouble. So the better place to go, at least right now, is locals. And that link is also at chicksontheright.com/links. So you can click right there and it'll show you how to join on locals. And then everybody has access to locals. Like you can just be a regular non-paying member if you want, and you'll see everybody's conversations. You just can't comment, and you can't see the exclusive content from us without subscribing. But that's how to do it. So thank you for bringing that up.
A reminder. Yes, thank you.
All right. Let's talk about the meetup between Macron, which is the reason for my name today, and Donald Trump. And I guess we should ask if anybody's checked in on Candace Owens. Like, is she okay that this meeting has happened?
I know, right? The whole time that the whole behind the scenes, I love that he did the whole, I just love that Trump does all this behind the scenes stuff where we can see everything. He knows how to do this, you guys, because he was obviously, he's seen entertainment. He is who he is. He's such a people person. He gets it. But we literally have been given a front row seat to the White House and everything that's happening like every single day. And I freaking love it. I love it.
It's amazing. There was they released like a 4.5 minute behind the scenes. Here's Trump walking through the hallways. Here's Macron coming in. Here's meeting him. I mean, all of it. You get to see all of it. It's really, really neat.
It is.
They actually had 2 pressers, if you will. One was from the Oval Office, and then one was like the formal one where they're both behind podiums. And so I just captured just a few of the more lighthearted and meatier moments, which I thought came from the Oval Office versus the stand-up one later. So we'll share a little bit. First was Trump commenting about how beautiful a language French is, and the way that they constantly touch each other is so funny to me, but like they're very handsy, and you'll see that in the first couple clips. Here's the first one.
That is the most beautiful language. I have no idea what he's saying, but that is the most elegant, beautiful language. Go ahead, please.
This is a question that was asked by several.
Macron is like, on the down low, he's like, what's it like being married to an actual woman? What's it like?
I know, right? It's
and
so funny.
He's like, he probably has a thing for Trump. He
probably absolutely cannot stand him. I think that my guess is that he doesn't like him at all.
He's fawning, like he's just like touching and fawning so much. If you hate somebody that much, why would you touch him that much? It's just weird.
He knows that Trump has the power, and he wants to be in the good graces of Trump. But he also, I think it's that whole phenomenon where you're just like, man, this guy's crazy, and I just don't know what he's going to do. So I think that's how Macron feels like. Yeah.
Trudeau is so jealous right now. He is.
Well, and speaking of French being a beautiful language, Trump also told this little story.
I want to tell you a little story. So we were at the Eiffel Tower having dinner with your wonderful wife and with my wonderful wife, and we came out and he started speaking the French deal, and we didn't have an interpreter, and he was going on and on and on, and I was just nodding yes, 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 and he really sold me out, because I got back the next day and I read the papers. I said, that's not what we said. He's a smart customer.
They are. It's crazy. They look like they're buds. You know what I mean?
I know.
Macron looks a little gay, but they look like they're buds.
It's just so funny to me. There were serious moments. Like, for example, the reporters were asking Trump about Elon's email, the one asking everybody to essentially justify their jobs. And so Trump stood behind him. Here is the answer to that question.
That wasn't exactly what we agreed to. You're talking about the last email that was sent, where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great, because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. They're trying to find, that's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't ask that. You can't ask those questions. It's just mean. It's abusive, according to Anna Navarro. So,
It's so mean. And we will actually have more about that coming up later in the show as well. He was also asked about Ukraine and this deal that he's been working on with Zelensky, or trying to work on, or have his people work on with Zelensky, to get rare mineral earths as part of a payback for all of the money that the United States has given to Ukraine. And so he was asked about how that deal is coming along.
And soon.
Well, how soon?
Within weeks. Yeah, I think so, right? Don't you think so? I'd like to have you. I think we could end it within weeks if we're smart. If we're not smart, it'll keep going and we'll keep losing young, beautiful people that shouldn't be dying. And we don't want that. And remember what I said. This could escalate into a third world war. And we don't want that either. The deal's being worked on, and we're, I think, getting very close to getting an agreement where we get our money back over a period of time. But it also gives us something where I think it's very beneficial to their economy, to them as a country. But, you know, we're in for $350 billion. How we got there, I don't know. But that's a lot of money, a lot of money invested.
Yeah,
and
it
we
is.
had nothing to show for it. And it was the Biden administration's fault. The Europeans are in for about $100 billion, and they do it as in the form of a loan. And the Europeans have been great on this issue. They understood it wasn't fair, and we were able to work something out. But with the Ukrainians, I think I can say that we're very close. Scott's around here someplace. I will.
And I don't know if you have the clip or not, but he was talking about how he doesn't blame Europe for basically freeloading. You know what I mean? He doesn't blame them for taking advantage. Yeah, he said that yesterday. He's like, I don't blame them, because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they take advantage of us if we allow them? You teach people how to treat you. We taught them you can walk all over us. And so why wouldn't they do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely. He even said about this deal that he's trying to make with Zelensky that it could result in Zelensky coming to sign said deal in the Oval Office. Here's that.
Meeting with President Zelensky. In fact, he may come in this week or next week to sign the agreement, and which would be nice. I'd love to meet him. Would meet at the Oval Office. So the agreement's being worked on now. They're very close to a final deal. It'll be a deal with rare earths and various other things, and he would like to come, as I understand it, here to sign it, and that would be great with me.
Look at what that looked like from a larger pan-out view.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Isn't
crazy.
that amazing?
Yeah, and it's also very new. Like, this is stuff that we've not seen a lot of before. It's the total transparency of this administration is so refreshing. At least to me, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love being able to see this. I love being able to see him walk that video that you talked about earlier, where it was like a 4-minute video where they take him from just walking down the halls to meeting him to all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. I mean, this is, I think it's the stuff that every other president either thought that we didn't need to see, or they thought it was too mundane to show us. And
I don't think I think that they liked having that element of it's their own, and it's because they're in a position of power that they get to keep it to themselves.
Right. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. So when people are like, he's a dictator.
Right.
No,
he literally shares everything with us.
Everything. He wants us to be in there with him, because it's, you know, by the people, for the people. We're the people, and we're in there like watching all this happen in real time. And it's so great. I love it.
I do too. It is awesome. Yesterday, we talked about the ridiculous governor of Maine, and we showed that clip between Trump and that governor at the governor's luncheon over the weekend, where he's like, are you going to do what the federal law now says, which is you're going to keep men out of women's sports? And she was like, we're going to do what like our own state says. And he was like, bye, bitch. I will see you in court. My words.
I wish he actually
not his words.
Bitch, we could see you in court. That would have been great.
It was amazing. And she's awful. She's absolutely awful. But there's a Republican representative from the state of Maine who was on Fox to talk about where that is and if she's still digging in her heels about it. And here is what she said.
Last question. That exchange was on Friday. Did your governor say much over the weekend?
She's dug in pretty hard, and honestly, it's really too bad, because her comments and her demeanor don't represent real Mainers. They don't represent our state, and I think it's left a bad taste in folks' mouth for Maine. But there's so much more to our state than Governor Mills, her extreme rhetoric, the policies of the legislative Democrats, and that exchange and this policy.
Yeah. I hope she doesn't represent all Mainers, because then we would think that Mainers want men to invade women and girls' spaces, which is not okay.
And it's not a winning issue, and we'll have more on that later in the show too. It's just not. And why they keep wanting to die on that hill, I have no idea.
Do it. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then, speaking of ridiculous Democrat women, there was also the one that we talked about yesterday, Senator Tina Smith, who did the tweet about Elon calling him a dick boss. Remember?
Yeah.
So Fox News was reporting on that, and they accidentally used a photo in their little story thumbnail of a different senator, a senator by the name of Tammy Baldwin is the other senator. And I'm telling you, they are identical twins. So yes, Fox News should have done a better job vetting their pictures and making sure that the photo was correct that they were using for Tina Smith. But in their defense, they are the same person, you guys. So this Senator Tina Smith called out Fox, and she made it about race. She said, that's Tammy Baldwin, not me. You can keep track of all of the hundreds of white men, but it's the 28 women in the Senate that trips you up, Fox News. This is what she said.
So she made it about race and gender because, that's surprising as a Democrat. We're all shocked by that. Yeah.
But then there was this. There is the photo that she herself posted with Tammy Baldwin saying there's nobody I'd rather have people confuse me with than Tammy Baldwin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this was a huge cell phone then, because you're basically saying you don't blame Fox for confusing you because you're identical twins. Okay?
Oh my God. And why did they wear the same thing?
I don't know.
I mean, they are separated at birth. That's crazy. It's worse than like what you and I do in the mornings. It's nuts. Hey, you gonna wear your blue blazer today? You gonna wear it?
I mean, they are the same person. I'm sorry, but they are.
Just different haircuts. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so like we said, the allowing men in in women's sports is a losing issue. The vast majority of Americans don't want men in women's sports, and yet Democrats keep digging in their heels about this. And they talked about this very issue on the Breakfast Club, and even they recognize this is a losing issue for them.
Why are folks still talking about trans athletes? Like, that is a losing talking point. America's not with it, and they keep making a micro or macro with that conversation. It impacts such a small group of people, but it makes a whole lot of people think folks lack common sense. So why are they even having that conversation? And I can't believe it's states that still want to die on that hill. Like, none of these states have a high percentage of trans athletes. So what's the issue?
Maybe it's just protecting the overall arching issue of trans rights, or that's still an ongoing thing. That's still a developing issue.
I don't know the probability, but I'm sure it's a higher probability of most people don't want men playing in women's sports, especially if they have daughters that practice and that. I'm sure the probability is pretty high.
It's just not a high percentage of trans athletes in the country. Period.
Right.
So I know state to state it has to be even smaller. So whatever.
I'm not sure. Maybe they like to, they're just, again, getting ahead of the issue. But to your point, I mean, don't die on the hill, y'all. There's so much more we could talk about. But speaking of what.
Oh, they're dying on it. They are dying on it. They're bleeding and dying on it. It's like, you just keep doing it. And tell me what a trans right is. So does a trans right mean that a biological male gets to go in and destroy the spaces of women and girls, that a biological man gets to go in and take opportunities away from women and girls? Because that's precisely what they're doing. Because it's like, what is it? The 900 medals have been taken away from women so far. That's not rights. That's them impeding on the rights of women and girls.
Right.
And so they can suck it. That's not what this is about. And people with common sense know what this is about. And if you do have a girl, which I have 2 of them, I know that I would not want grown men in their locker rooms.
Right.
No.
And that's the thing. It's just the more they scream about trans rights, the more women's rights are eroded. Right. So, and then remember Blossom or whoever that person's name was on with Pierce, just suggesting we should just only have gender neutral like Olympics and gender neutral sports, which again eliminates women from ever competing again, ever.
But it also shows you that she's never participated in a sport in her whole life. She's never gotten up at 4 a.m. to go to practice for 3 hours every morning and then go again in the afternoon like my daughter does. You know what I mean? Like this is what these people don't get it, because they've never participated in this stuff. And if they have, shame on them if they have, because I guess there are some on that side of the aisle that'll just be like, like the Megan Rapinos of the world, who actually think this is
about her.
right.
Why did you have to remind me
Because
of that
she's
file?
Because she's one of those people who thinks this is a great idea. Now that she's already had her success and she's kind of like semi-retired, it's okay for other women to have to deal with the wrath of men in their spaces. Not okay. None of it's okay. And people who are sane understand this. The people who are insane don't.
I want to unknow. Can we just delete?
Megan Rapino. Sorry. It's early. I know. I'm sorry.
If you are seeing online still, perhaps even from people that they are insisting that everything in air travel is a gajillion times worse now that Trump is president somehow, please share this clip with them, because Sean Duffy is giving a dose of reality to people who are like, oh my God, Trump's firing all the important people in air travel, and that's why everything's chaos.
In government and in DOT as well. But let's be clear. At FAA, we cut 352 people out of 46,000 people. That's 0.8% of the workforce. These were probationary workers. They were employed for less than a year at DOT. So these weren't the old school, really ingrained employees of the DOT. And not only that, we kept all the critical safety positions. And we actually hired more positions into critical safety, like air traffic controllers. We hired more inspectors for things like pipelines and for aircraft. So again, we have a safety mission. But for people to say that because we cut 352 people out of 46,000, that's a risk to safety, give me a break. I mean, that's just plain politics as opposed to saying, let's cut the fat.
It does, the truth doesn't matter to these people. It doesn't. These are the people who think that men can get pregnant. So seriously, so they're going to take what he says and be like, I don't want to hear it. Safety. It's like planes are crashing because Trump, orange man. Bad.
Right.
This is what they're going to think, and men can get pregnant. Okay.
It's just so dumb.
Right.
It's been a while since we've had a clip of Governor
God, I love this clip. I love it.
Well, we actually have a couple because first he announced that as a state, Florida is going to set up its own DOGE. So like the state version to support the federal DOGE's efforts. Of course, Ron DeSantis, once again, leading the way on governorship. I mean, there is no better governor. And so he made that announcement yesterday.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that we are launching a comprehensive initiative to continue to streamline our government and to continue to eliminate unnecessary bureaucracy and to continue to ensure tax dollars are used in the most efficient way possible. We are creating a state DOGE task force that will implement a multi-pronged approach to eliminating bureaucratic bloat and modernizing our state government to best serve the people of Florida in the years ahead.
I love this so much. I love all of it so much. And all and the property tax stuff. I'm like, I hope Governor Abbott is paying attention because my property taxes just went up $1,000. Yep.
That's not okay.
Not okay. I mean, I am taxed enough already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just know how I feel about taxes. Not okay. So this would be a great thing if it was done by a lot of Republican governors across the board. If they, they just didn't always look at DeSantis anyway.
I know, right? He is the blueprint for how to govern.
Yes.
Just do what he's doing and you'll be fine.
Do what he's doing.
The problem is that his term is going to be up. And now there's going to be a lot of jockeying for position when it comes to who's going to take his place. We've heard the name Byron Donalds being thrown around. Trump has put all of his support behind Byron Donalds, but DeSantis is not impressed so far. And I got to say, he makes a point. Here he is.
My view is Donald Trump just got into office. I want these congressmen focused on enacting his agenda. They haven't done very much yet. They're not putting his executive orders into place. We'll see what they do on the spending. But we have such a narrow majority that to be trying to campaign other places and missing these votes, I think is not something that's advisable at all. I think people look at it and say, you got a guy like Byron, he just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had here over the left over these last years. He's just not been a part of it. He's been in other states campaigning, doing that, and that's fine. But okay, well then deliver results up there. That's what I want to see. I want to see them delivering results.
Yeah, I hear you. He's right. He's right. I mean, he's right. We all want to see them delivering results. So he's not saying anything that's mean. If people think that's mean, get over it. Quit being so butthurt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, Byron's great for sound bites, but
Right.
like, what has he actually accomplished?
Mhm.
And DeSantis's record in Florida has been so phenomenal. But as his wife Casey points out, and as he pointed out in that same speech that he was giving yesterday, this can be a very fleeting success. Like, it's very easy for somebody to come in and just undo everything or
Totally.
not move the state forward. So it's not like it's guaranteed to just stay awesome because he did all the right stuff.
No, you're
and
right.
now that she is saying those things too, it's leading a lot of people to wonder, is she going to run? Because she sounds very candidate-y right here.
You know, while we are leading here in the state of Florida, I would say, and this is true, even with a Republican supermajority and the GOAT in the governor's office, none of this here runs on autopilot. The wins in Florida and frankly the sanity and the freedom that we enjoy in the free state of Florida, unfortunately, are not guaranteed in perpetuity. With the left and the special interests wanting to impose their will, especially like usurping the legislature and perverting our state constitutional amendment process, which you recently saw, or squishes wanting to go Republican light by continuing to spend on massive boondoggles and not implementing the will of the people, Florida could very easily revert back to a purple state. So what's the moral of the story? You have to lead. You have to have courage. You have to show that our way works. You enact bold policies and you hold yourself accountable. Because if we do this, we will continue to be a model for the nation, we will be a beacon of hope for the world, and we will continue to stay the free state of Florida. Thank you, Dr. Atlas, for the opportunity.
Yeah, I can maybe see her running.
And I would not hate it. Because to me, it would be like, he's the co-pilot. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. He would be in her ear. I was trying to understand like what her qualifications were, like what she's done. It's like her background. I know she has a BS in economics.
Yeah.
And
And she was a journalist. I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know, except that she has been right by his side the entire time that he's been running the state. And
totally. And he would be right by her side if he was running the state. Yeah. But you're right about it being able to be undone. Because I mean, somebody can go in there and just Biden the crap out of that.
Yeah.
They could Biden the crap out of Florida and then it would be screwed. And so, I mean, if you live in Florida, you can't let that happen.
No, I mean, because that has been like the shining beacon of a state.
Totally.
The model for all other Republican states.
Uh-huh.
Here's some other stuff that's neat and good and cool. And that is that Trump has decided that Alice Johnson, who famously was pardoned by Trump through the efforts of Kim Kardashian, she is now pardon czar. And she was on with Dana Perino to talk about her role. I just love her. She's such a gentle, sweet, kind lady.
Yes, she is.
And you can tell that this role, it means a lot to her and she's going to do a great job. Here she is.
What does it mean for you now to be the pardon czar? What do you plan to do with that power?
Well, I plan to fulfill the trust that the president has placed in me. He's given me specific marching orders. And actually, Dana, from the time I've been working on this nonstop since my release, this is really a continuation of the work that I've already been doing. I've brought many pardon cases before the president in the past. And one thing I can say about President Trump, he was very interested in their families. He wanted to know if they have a solid reentry program in place. I wanted to make sure that I brought him the best candidates, because what is happening in this nation is really sending a message to the world that we care about the least of his people.
Yeah. I mean, what a lovely lady. She's lovely.
Right?
Yeah. That's like
I just love this.
Yeah. And let's just all take a moment to understand again how racist Trump is.
So racist.
So racist, isn't he?
Yeah. It's so awful and racist how he keeps elevating people of color to prominent positions.
Exactly. What a racist and a sexist, no less.
Totally sexist. In fact,
absolutely.
To that point, let's hear from Caroline Leavitt, because Caroline Leavitt and the White House experienced another win yesterday with their fight against the AP, which wasn't really a fight. They just said, hi, AP, you're not accepting that there's a new name of the Gulf of Mexico. It's now called the Gulf of America, and all the apps are showing it, and you should too. And since you're not, until such time as you do, you are no longer welcome into the Oval Office or onto Air Force One. You're welcome to come to the pressers. By all means, cover the White House, but you don't get access to these more private, intimate spaces because you're not doing the right thing.
And that's a privilege. That is a privilege.
Exactly, which has always been their point. And
Right.
the AP sued them and have so far lost. Here is Caroline to give the update.
Continues here at the White House every day. Today, a federal judge right here in Washington, D.C. denied the Associated Press's emergency request for a temporary restraining order to restore their privilege of returning to the White House press pool. And the judge's denial of the Associated Press's request reinforces what I said from the podium last week and what President Trump has been saying. Covering the American presidency in the most intimate and limited spaces in this White House, in the Oval Office, on the Air Force One, is a privilege. It is not a legal right. And we want all voices to have that opportunity. And that's why we've expanded the James S. Brady briefing room to invite truly legitimate, independent journalists, podcasters, and other media types into that room to cover this president with honesty and accuracy and with real mindfulness of what the American people actually care about.
I just saw the best comment from Travis. Travis, seriously, I have to shout you out. He said, nacho golf anymore. Dying. It's so great. Oh, God, I love you people. I love you people.
It's seriously the best audience of all time and space.
The best community ever. So great.
It really is. And speaking of Caroline, she gave a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what she loves about President Trump and how he really genuinely wants to know the opinions of all the people working around him, even on topics that he knows they know nothing about. So I love this little, kind of look behind the curtain with Caroline.
Best thing about him that I've learned is he's a great listener and he values the opinions of everybody in the room. And he'll be talking about tariffs and he'll ask somebody in the room who he knows and everybody knows has no experience in the world of tariffs, but he genuinely wants to hear the opinions of everybody else before he makes a decision. And that's fascinating to me as the leader of the free world, that he cares what everybody in the room thinks. And something else I've noticed is he's so generous with his time. And sometimes it means we're running late throughout the day. Trump time here at the White House. Trump time's a real thing. Trump time is a real thing, but it's because he's so hospitable and generous with his time. And he'll have 30 minutes scheduled for someone, but he'll give that person 2 or sometimes 3 hours of his day. And he'll go above and beyond to, show that maybe it's from being in hospitality his whole life and in real estate and owning properties, and you have to welcome everybody, but he does that on a daily basis, no matter how tiring or exhausting it can be.
Yep. He's not lived in the Washington bubble. I think that he has he does have all that hospitality and the real estate and the entrepreneurship and all that under his belt. Real good business people do that, is they pay attention to what other people want and they talk to people. They can be hospitable. They can be personable. That's who he is. He's a people guy. He is a total people guy. He's not just living in that bubble where everybody's just telling you, you're so great. He wants to hear what people, that's how he's been so successful, right? So why would that stop when he becomes president?
I know. I love that. I love that little inside look. And I think she's absolutely right. And you are too, that this is his background and it suits him and it suits the people around him really, really well. Also, I think I moved the little cursor too far, but there was this very brief moment that I'm hoping I have here where Pete Hegseth was asked a question about the media about qualifications of, I think it was probably about Dan Bongino. I can't be certain who they were even asking about, but that's the media's push right now, is to ask all the cabinet, well, is this person really qualified? Is that person really qualified? I mean, that's all they care about. And I loved,
they make that face too.
Right.
Which is disconcerting.
I loved Pete Hegseth's response to this so much. Here it is.
Or exhausting it can be.
Why did you connect him on
underqualified retired lieutenant general to be the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
I'm gonna choose to reject your unqualified question.
Perfect.
So
perfect.
great. Yeah.
Your question is unqualified.
You are invalid. Right. They're so much nicer than me. I would have been like, F off.
Right.
God, these people are just insufferable.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Harry Enton, the little data nerd from CNN, had some interesting stats about X. And I thought this was absolutely fascinating because, now there's this whole blue sky alternative, which is, I'm sure, if you were to look at the composition of it, it's like 98% crazy liberals.
Isn't it
and then maybe
like 2%, like mostly pedos, isn't it?
Probably.
There's a lot of pedos out there. Yeah.
Any conservative who is on that platform is there just for fodder. I mean, they're looking. Yeah, they're looking for. They're not there to actually engage in conversation because you can't. These people are crazy.
Right.
And so here is how the makeup of X looks before Elon and now, and it's utterly fascinating to learn.
This really gets at it. Look at this. The party ID among those who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Back in 2022, 65% of those who regularly use Twitter/X for news were Democrats. Just 31% were Republicans. Look at where we are today. Just a completely different picture. Now it's basically split between Democrats at 48%, Republicans at 47%. And what I should note, Mr. Berman, is this new overall makeup matches the overall electorate far better.
Right.
Yeah, it does. It does match the electorate. And I'm one of those people. I didn't like Twitter back, like years ago. And now I love it. So I'm out there every day, a lot during the day.
It's the greatest.
It is. It's the best.
I'm obsessed with it. Obsessed.
Yeah, it's the best.
All right.
It's the best social media platform out there at this point.
Hands down. Hands down.
Yep.
It is. Absolutely. Okay. And speaking of Elon, I don't know who this clown is. He got absolutely killed on X yesterday, but this jackass decided to tweet. Joshua Reid Eagle is his name. So he tweeted, Elon Musk walks off and dang it. Sorry, you guys. I don't know why that keeps wanting to play. Okay. Elon Musk walks off and leaves his 4-year-old son wandering off stage by himself. This clip legitimately disturbs and saddens me.
Oh no, is Joshua okay? Is Joshua gonna be? Somebody send him a tampon. Poor Josh.
But Joshua completely made this up, and he manipulated the video by cutting it short to prove that Elon is somehow like this neglectful dad. Now, granted, Elon is not somebody that I would hold up as an example of how to father.
No.
Okay, he just isn't.
No.
But to make up stuff when you don't need to at all is just ridiculous. And so he posted a piece of this video. You're going to see the piece that he posted to create this ridiculous, oh my God, I'm so disturbed and saddened tweet. And then you're going to see the full context. I'll just let them play back to back.
We don't have too many, but that one is a good one. No, I watched this rocket come down.
So this is what he posted, and it looks like he left him.
And I thought it was a question. Somebody on the phone.
But here's the real video.
Yeah, because why would he play the whole thing? Why would he do that in all of its full context?
I watched this rocket come down about 3 months ago, and I thought it was crashing. I was talking to somebody on the phone. By the way, same thing happened yesterday. Came down.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. You know who else manipulates videos? Dan Crenshaw. Just bringing that up. He also does that to make himself look better, and he probably cries about it too. Dan Crenshaw does that, you guys. Dan Crenshaw.
And we'll be getting to Dan Crenshaw at the end, actually, of this segment. He's not last. It was my bad. He's like
close
second
to last.
To
He should be last. Yeah.
Kamala, now that she has busied herself with winning like an NAACP award, and she's been, I don't know, busy. I don't even know what she's
gonna
been
start
doing.
acting. She signed with an agency.
That's true.
And Biden signed with talent agencies, and they're going to be in your next like blockbuster movies, you guys. I can't wait to see her on the big screen, Mark.
Or she might try to run for governor of California. And I think that along that line of thinking, she decided, it's been what, like 3 weeks now since the fires raged throughout the LA area.
Yeah.
Now she's visiting and like commenting about the fires. And you guys, she's so dumb, you guys. Here again is the bullet that we dodged.
Mind when you see this, you're here, you're now seeing it up close.
It's not only seeing it, Alex, you can smell it.
Oh.
You can feel it, right? So it's seeing it with our eyes, and many people have seen it. You all are covering it. But to literally be on the ground here, you can smell the smoke that was here. You can feel the toxicity, frankly, of the environment. You can feel the energy of all of the folks who are still here on the ground.
God, she's an idiot. I cannot. You can taste it, you guys. You can taste the smoke.
You can feel the energy from the people that are here.
Does anybody have any wine? Does anyone? Oh,
you can smell the smoke.
Yeah, you can.
So profound.
Fire's hot.
Anyway, I'm glad she made it out to see the remnants of the fire. Good job.
Yeah, it said that talent agency's helping her act. Good job. Good you.
Right.
Taking those acting classes.
And speaking of dumb Democrats, Jasmine Crockett still continuing to completely missed the mark on the reason that Democrats lost. She believes that it's just a messaging problem. It has nothing to do with their actual policies.
Right.
It's just that the Republicans have this huge advantage because they have Twitter and Fox News. She really believes this.
Oh my God.
Here she is.
It's important that those of us that sit in Congress have to figure out what is really the best way for us to communicate. And we've got to settle into that and recognize that not everyone's going to sit on a podcast. Not everyone's going to be social media savvy, but they are going to have to find their communication lane. And so I do think that it is something that we struggle with. We know right now we obviously have X that's owned by Elon. We've also got the other news network that I won't name and some other things. So there's an actual ecosystem that pumps out this disinformation consistently on behalf of them.
Yeah. Was it disinformation when we saw that transgender with his or her boobs hanging out, his bolt-ons hanging out on the White House lawn? Remember? You guys remember?
Oh, I remember.
Was that because they were supposed to bring decency back to the White House. This is what they promised us. That was their idea of decency. That kind of stuff. We could give you a list. Everybody's, that's why. That's why they're gone. And she thinks it's messaging. They're just not doing messaging correctly. Oh my
or
God,
that Republicans have the edge when it comes to media and communications. Are you for real?
We have two forums as opposed to the gajillion that they have had over the past however many years since you and I have been doing this. They've had an upper hand when it comes to. Give me a break, lady.
I know.
But just keep thinking that. Just keep thinking it's a messaging problem. Okay.
Meanwhile, CNN has decided in the midst of all of this, Elon's email, like sending people into outrage, spinning cycles. They decided, what we should do? We should have on one of the people that was affected by that email. We should have on this woman who is deeply affected by receiving the email. Here she is to describe her tragic story.
Email Saturday afternoon, about 3 p.m. And I felt absolutely infuriated getting this email with a demand within 48 hours to provide a response on what I did within the last week or face termination. This is clearly an attempt from Elon Musk to harass and bully and intimidate the federal workforce.
My God.
Oh, whoops. There's
a broader plan to gut the federal workforce and privatize public sector services to ensure that corporations like his own can get more profit. And that makes me really angry, and my coworkers as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry that you're angry, but what is it that you did last week? What did you do? Because we want to know, because we employ you.
Right.
I'm actually your boss. You guys are her boss. So what did you do last week, lady? Why are you crying about it on national television? Because the rest of us who have been in the private sector, we've been filling out like progress reports and things. We have to do that. you guys have had to do that in your job. So quit bitching about it and tell us what you did last week.
This isn't hard. Just prove that you continue to exist and that you actually read your emails. That's it. That's the bar. Okay.
This
is not hard.
Traumatizing getting an email. If it's that traumatizing, then quit. Just quit.
Well, Ana Navarro went so far as to call his email abuse. And that is when Scott Jennings was like, bitch, please. Here is that moment.
Federal workers. And it is just plain wrong. And it's random.
It's abusive.
It's random.
It's abusive. To
Yes,
get an email?
I do. I do think that. I think the way that they are. Yeah, I think the way that they are treating them.
Why? How is this abusive?
Scott, have you ever gotten an email from someone that said you better do this or else you're going to resign?
Yeah, it's called having a boss.
From someone who's not your boss.
Well, the White House is every federal worker's boss. That's number one.
Elon Musk is not anybody's boss.
Scott, how is Elon going to evaluate? I mean, how is he going to evaluate the work of thousands of federal employees when he has no idea what they do?
He's not. The test was, are you even paying attention to your email? Are you even at your terminal?
Some federal workers, he sent it on a weekend. Some federal workers do not have access to their emails on the weekends. They just don't.
Did they go to work today? I mean, look, the amount of outrage, melting down, and sort of outpouring of emotion over this ought to tell you everything you need to know. We had a lady on CNN today, a supposed federal worker, who said she was infuriated by getting this email. She had time to go on CNN, but she didn't have time to send a 30-second email saying, well, here's what I was working on last week. This is what people in the private sector have come to hate about how they view the public sector. And I think there's a great many very dedicated public servants. But you said, it's about control. Yes, it's about control, and it's about finding out who is actually at their job working and who isn't, and do we need all these people?
Yeah, and this is not helping. This is not helping public sector employees, when they go on shows and they bitch and moan about having to say what they did last week, when we do it in the private sector all the time, and we don't get pensions from the American taxpayer. We have to save for our own retirements. Go figure. So I don't want to hear it. I know we're going to get emails because we get emails all the time from public sector people who say, we're
not all bad.
Yeah. We're not all bad. You're demonizing us. But okay, well then tell people that work around you to shut their yappers and say what they did last week. Answer the email. That's what we would do.
Yeah, we're to appease the people who keep sending us emails going, we're not all bad. I'm going to show you one that's not, because that's true. But I hope that there's many, 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 many more like the woman that you're about to see in just a few minutes than there are of the woman that you just saw on CNN crabbing about, oh my God, I only got 48 hours to type a 5-bullet message.
Yeah. And oh my God, I only got a 9-month severance. Like who gets that in the private sector? Raise your freaking hand. Seriously. Yeah. I can't.
Representative Burchett is quickly becoming one of my favorites. He was on a news show talking about the ridiculousness of all the outrage. I love him. Here he is.
To challenging federal employees on their accomplishments and how that's now being asked to thousands, tens of thousands of people across the country through social media.
I think it's a great idea. You do it in private business all the time. You have to have accountability. You have to show your work. You have to show what you've done.
Yep.
And now we're saying the federal government should do the same. And some folks are upset about it. Obviously, they're upset because they can't show what they've done because they probably haven't done much. They're mad because they have to go back to work. I've been contacted by people that are very upset that they have to go back to work because they've moved. They don't even live in the area anymore, but they thought they could work from home. And, the post-COVID days are over. We need to get people back to work. We need to show what they're doing, and we need to show the efficiencies of government.
Why is that mean? How is that abusive?
It's not mean. It's
not mean or abusive. And if you think it's mean or abusive, then you need to grow up.
And the fact that they're like, these layoffs, which are probably long overdue, people are acting as though it's limited to the federal government and that somehow they deserve more sympathy than anybody else in the private sector who is currently getting laid off. Starbucks is like laying off 1,000 people right now. It's happening everywhere. No one is exempt from the possibility of losing a job.
Right. And oh my God, during COVID, how many people lost their businesses because of the federal government? How many people lost their livelihoods? Businesses that they had built for decades, just like that, were gone because of COVID. How many people lost their jobs because they wouldn't get the jab?
And how many of these Democrats like Ana Navarro were cheering that on?
Yes. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Well, you'll like this one. This is a federal worker who is making a fantastic point, and I hope her colleagues take a listen.
I am a federal employee that got an email this Saturday basically stating that I needed to highlight 5 accomplishments that I had last week, and to me that was not a huge deal. I am someone who likes to highlight my accomplishments, and I was sent over in about a email that took me six minutes, something like that. I used to work for the private sector for about 13 years, so I was held accountable every day. I had lists of things that needed to be done every day, and it was just not a big deal to me to send that out. So I just want to say that. I would say highlight the things that you do. Highlight, who you are as a federal employee and the things that you're accomplishing.
Right. And be like,
why is this hard?
Right. I'm a huge asset to this organization. I'm going to tell you why. Like, why can't people take that? Why don't they take that stance? I don't get it. Why are they so butthurt about an email? I don't get it. Because in the private sector, or even if I did work a government job, if somebody said, "What did you do last week?" I'd be like, "Let me tell you."
Right.
Let me tell you what I did last week. I will be happy to highlight the things that I did. Like, why is this such it's not abusive. The fact that people are trying to make it into some sort of, victim mentality is astounding to me.
I know. But it's so typical. Typical of the left. And then there's also this phenomenon on the left too, where they create victims of people who are not victims at all, who are actual perpetrators, like Luigi Mangione, who we talked about yesterday, all the women lining up in the courtroom to get a glimpse of this asshat. And now there are people wearing shirts with his little hoodie, like logo on them. This woman is psychotic, but these people are out there and we all need to be aware.
Is this a Luigi hat?
Yes, it's yes.
Luigi Mangione?
Eat the CEOs, because you push people too far, and when you push people against the wall and they have nowhere to go, they're going to push back. And right now, the 1% is taking advantage of the masses, and we are just sitting and being complacent and taking it. It is time for us to say no. We outnumber the billionaire bloodsuckers. We need to make them afraid. Right now he has 20 bodyguards. He needs to have 100. Because again, you push people too far and they have nowhere, the backs are up against the wall, they're going to lash out. So these CEOs need to get off of their greedy, selfish attitudes, taking from us, and then nobody's going to be wanting to shoot them down in the streets. If I wish for you to go shoot yourself into the sun, I want you to be gone.
Got it.
Yeah. So I want Elon Musk to be gone. Yeah.
You want him to be gone. You want him to.
Yes, he's a selfish.
You want a Luigi. You want a Luigi.
He's a selfish, greedy bastard who is just sucking the humanity out of the world, and we need less Elons and more Luigis. Yes.
Based on her accent, I'm gonna just assume, and I could be wrong, that she immigrated from someplace. And I bet that someplace did not let her protest like she's protesting right now in the free United States of America. I don't like her.
I wish somebody would have said, how many people does Elon employ amongst all of his various enterprises? Does that not count for anything?
No. It counted like 10 years ago when he was still a Democrat, right?
Oh,
and he was still on their side. And now that he's like seen the craziness of the left and he's transferred over to our side, now it's like none of that matters, Mock. Now he's just bad. Now they all have EDS instead of TDS. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Very textbook.
Well, and they're not going to get away with some of the more violent rhetoric. There's a woman, this girl is an idiot. So she posted a video on TikTok, not only saying that Elon should be offed, essentially, but also that she has evaded taxes for the past 8 years,
My God.
thinking that this is somehow a smart thing to put out into the universe. Here she is.
I promised myself I would avoid the news, but obviously I haven't. Here's my one thought. I mean, I have many thoughts. Elon Musk, like, we need to X him, and by X I mean formerly known as assassination. and someone from FBI is gonna fucking show up. I don't.
They should show up at her house. Yeah, do it. Arrest her.
You don't have enough people to even investigate me at this point. I haven't filed my taxes in like 8 years. And yet, no one's covered me. So, I'm gonna fucking say it. Let's assassinate some motherfuckers.
Oh my God. This woman, like.
And that was reported on MASH. And
what a weird flex, right?
Yeah. DC attorney Ed Martin responded to her saying, "Talk soon, ma'am." God. And then all the people that were sending him the message, he responded on X saying, "Duly noted. Thank you for letting us know. We will put you in the system. Talk soon, ma'am. Hashtag no one is above the law."
Right. And people who don't pay their taxes go to jail. So bye, bitch. I mean, this is the thing, right? Why would you say that? Why would you do that unless you're crazy?
Well, that's why. That's She's exactly
crazy,
why.
You guys. So she had it coming. She totally did. I just put her in jail. Put her in jail for all the reasons. All of them. Yeah.
Okay, the time has come. Your moment has arrived. We are about to show you a video that went viral on X last night, originally posted apparently by the guy interviewing Dan Crenshaw himself to show what Dan Crenshaw said on a hot mic. So it's very hard to listen to. You're going to see it once in its original format, and then again where I've like amplified Dan's voice to the extent that I could. And we'll decide if you think he is threatening to off Tucker Carlson, because that was the message that took this video viral. And then the interviewer person took down the video, and we don't know why. Some people are speculating that maybe we all misheard Dan Crenshaw.
I think it's because he's afraid Dan Crenshaw wants to kill him now too. That's what I think.
So again, the first video is the original where it's kind of tough to hear what Dan says. And so then I'll follow it immediately with the one where he's amplified. Here is the first one.
Thank you.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot on Twitter. If I ever meet him, I'll probably kill him.
I think he sounds the worst person ever.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot on Twitter. If I ever meet him, I'll probably kill him. He's the worst person ever.
That's what he
It
said.
sounds like he's saying, if I ever met him, I will effing kill him, not joking. And then as he was walking away, he's the worst person ever.
The worst person ever. Right. It's pretty clear what he said. And it's not like it's out of it's not like it's out of character. He's like emotionally unhinged, this guy. He always has been. He fakes it and he tries to act like he's not, but he totally is. He's a complete nutcase.
I mean, he definitely could benefit from some anger management therapy. There is no question about it.
Yeah.
It was interesting that, so again, the guy that was in that video with Dan Crenshaw took it down. And a lot of people are saying, oh, what he said was not that he was going to effing kill him, but that he would make time for him if he had it or something. I mean, there were all kinds of,
oh my God, it's such a
excuses and justifications. So I don't know. All I know is that it sounded a lot like what everybody was saying it sounded like.
I know.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's what he said. He can try to, listen, he's probably going to try to manipulate a video to make it otherwise, because that's what he does. He did that to us. He takes video. He is literally CNN of the Congress world. Like when a sitting congressperson, and that's the thing, I do not like this guy. I don't trust him. I think he's a liar. I think he's a manipulator. I think he's emotionally unhinged. And really, that's kind of what Tucker said about him in the past. Tucker has said things about him that aren't kind because he's not a good representative of the people. He's a sellout. And when
he's become like just meaner and meaner and meaner the longer he's in office.
And if
Elon actually tweeted back to the video saying, "Why is Crenshaw homicidal regarding Tucker?" And then Tucker responded, "Why don't you come sit for an interview and we'll see how you do? I'll send you my address, Dan Crenshaw."
He won't do it. He totally won't do it. And when he's questioned about things like money, which what we question him about like how he's made money and insider trading and the things that, and him wanting a raise. He felt like Congress deserved a raise. And remember, he went on that unhinged rant in that one interview when, he suggested that they get raised. He thinks it's absurd that people should even question that, because he's in some sort of a position of power. You work for us, Dan Crenshaw. I'm a Texan. You work for me. And he's a terrible representation of this state. I'm embarrassed by him. I wish somebody would hurry up and take his place. I just think it's awful. But Tucker said that he's emotionally like incapable. He said that. He said that he's out of control, which I totally agree with. He said that he's not America first. He's just like all the other swamp creatures who gives money to all these other places, but then pretends to be a conservative. I also agree with that. And he doesn't like being called out for those things.
No, he doesn't
like it.
He didn't like this either, and he is denying it. So somebody, I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, actually just outright asked him, "Did you threaten to kill my friend Tucker Carlson?" And Dan Crenshaw said, "LOL, no."
Yeah.
So
okay. I don't think he was LOLing when he read that.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, because again, it was the Steve Edgington guy who was the interviewer. And he said with the video, after our interview, I asked Dan if he had ever met Tucker Carlson. He said, "I would kill him if I saw him." I laughed it off. He said, "No, seriously, I would." And so now that video is taken down. So it's almost like, did he mishear him? And now he's being threatened with a lawsuit, like a defamation thing. I have no idea, but you saw the video. You can judge for yourself.
He shouldn't start suing people because, other people could sue him for manipulating videos as a sitting congressman, which is precisely what he did to us. I will never get over that. Dude is a sitting congressperson, and he took a 13-minute video of us, put it into 16 seconds or something like that.
And said, they hate vets.
Try to make it look like we hate the military and hate veterans. That guy.
Oh my God.
No,
yeah,
you don't get to do that. Yeah, so you just go ahead and start suing people, Dan. Okay.
All right, we got to get to some of the reaction about Joy Reid, because that was such a delight yesterday to see her crying about losing her job. So we have a little bit of her like TikTok or whatever video that she made on her own, and then we'll have some clips and tributes to her from the rest of her MSNBC colleagues, which are absolutely hilarious. But first, here is her initial reaction and her announcement to her followers.
My show had value, and that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I say this is kind of like being on TV, so I apologize. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show had value, and that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like being on TV, so I apologize.
It's like she had value. She had such value, you guys. She had value being a race baiter. There's a lot of value in that. I never thought I'd see the president playing a recorder. That's my favorite. So great.
Megyn Kelly had no love lost for Joy Reid, and here she is responding to the news.
Tonight will be Joy Reid's final show on MSNBC.
So
single tear, white woman tears happening right here, Joy.
Mm-hmm.
She was officially fired over the weekend because she's a racist, horrible news anchor with no ratings.
Yeah, I mean, she ain't wrong. Basically why she got fired. And the God thing, come on.
I know. It's
like
ridiculous.
It's a God thing. But listen, abortion is great. Abortion's great.
Remember when we were on CNN back in the day with Don Lemon?
I do.
He has changed so much since we were on with him. He was kind and lovely to us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to be fair, he had a cold that night. So maybe he was like not like 100% himself, but he was pretty nice to us.
Very, very nice to us.
Yeah.
Very, very lovely. But he did not appreciate Megyn's white woman single tear at all. And he tried really hard to like insult Megyn with cleverness. He's not good at insulting. And here is how it turned out.
That's really been the truth for a long time.
So let me just say to Megyn Kelly, in my 30-some years as a journalist and my 50-some years as a person of color, go fuck yourself. Okay? I usually don't like to talk about her because she's one of those people, she thrives on it. She has built the second part of whatever of her career on being a troll. So this,
I mean, she's good at it. She's
the
really
worst person. No, Megyn Kelly, the worst person on television was fired from NBC in the Today Show a few years ago, and that's Megyn Kelly.
Really?
That's the worst person who's not on television anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is you.
That is not clever, Don.
That's the worst person who's not on television. So hoorah for that.
So bad.
NBC did something good with that.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Yeah, he's really, really bad at that. Let's stack her against you in ratings and how she does job-wise, and then how you're doing, Don. I think that shows why, you're so angry. It's because you're jealous of her and her success.
Well, the fellow reporter people, the show hosts on MSNBC, which included our favorite Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow, they were on Joy's final show. And again, you're going to notice her in her purple tracksuit, which whatever. But the words that they use to describe Joy and their feelings about Joy's show getting canceled are just, I don't know why they cause me so much amusement, but I'll just let them run together. First, Rachel, and then Nicole.
Well, first I want to say that I love you, Joy. I love you. And that I am bereft, that the readout is ending.
I'm sorry, but I just think that is so funny that she is bereft. Talks that way.
I know.
Nobody
Rachel Maddow talks that way. She does. Right.
She's bereft. And now here is Nicole, also super sapped out.
I'm going to break the rules the way Rachel broke the rules and tell you that I love you. That the happiest times I've had, not just at MSNBC, but ever being on television, have been sitting next to the two of you. No offense, Lawrence. We love having you there too.
We love Lawrence.
And that I think that I thought that things like that on TV couldn't be real, but that the friendships that have sustained me have been with both of you. And I am, it's like losing a limb, the thought of doing those nights without you. Your strength and your fearlessness is the answer to the question I think you're getting at with both of us. And I think that my reaction to the end of the readout and your departure is despair.
Then if they think that she's been dealt some great injustice, why don't they both quit?
Oh, I think you're going a little too far.
Do you think it's too far?
A little too far.
Because she's one of those evil white women? Because I got to tell you, if you and I both worked at a network, you're my best friend. I mean, I won't speak for you, but if you and I worked in a network and I felt like you were dealt an actual injustice, I'd be like, F you people, I quit. Don't,
because you would be like right behind. That's the thing, is that why would these people feel they're protected in any way?
They're so full of crap. It's all an act, and they want to make themselves look good.
Rachel laid it on extra thick because then during her own show, she basically accused the network of being racist. Here it is.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Well, then quit. Quit. If you think that you work for a racist network, why are you still working there, Rachel? Oh, it's probably the like 20 mil you get a year, right? Is that what it is?
That might have a little bit to do with it.
Maybe just a tiny bit to do with it. You sell out. Yeah. If she's really your friend and you think that she was dealt an injustice, quit. Quit.
She's not going to.
Yeah.
She's not going
because
to.
because she's full of shit. That's why.
She's totally full of shit.
Totally full of shit.
But I love all the calling out and the drama.
I do, right? I know.
It's
So much
excellent.
drama. I know it is extra.
All right, it's time for some My Pillow Talks. And first up, we have a sable. I was not expecting to have a sable video, but we have a sable video, and it's a sable that loves being hurled across the room and coming back for more.
A sable. That's a cat. That's a cat.
That's a sable.
A sable. Oh my god. I need to see it close up.
That's as much as we get.
I mean, what a cutie though.
Oh, so cute.
They're
like little minks.
That the animal would fit in well in my house because it's that chaotic in my house on a daily basis.
Okay, now what you're about to see is kind of like when you're at the eye doctor and you're asked to say what's better or worse. Like, do you prefer A or B?
Right.
Okay. So you're going to see two choices about a workout instructor that you would prefer. Would you prefer choice A or choice B? Okay, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I am. I'd go with 2. 2 is more my style. You know what I mean? Not as screamy, not as loud. I feel like I could like lay there for a while if I just wanted to lay there. You know what I mean?
Just do a couple leg lifts here and there.
Just a little
you know?
tiny number 2 for me.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right. Now, I know your daughter is a huge fan of the capybara. I know she loves herself some capybaras.
She just got capybara pajamas the other day. She loves
capybaras.
capybaras.
And I don't remember who said it originally, but I love the person who said it was a lost or missed opportunity not to call them guinea bigs.
I'm going to tell her that. That is the greatest.
It's the perfect name for them. And someone you're about to see has a capybara as a pet. His name is Leo DiCapibario or something like that.
Oh my God. I love it.
And this capybara loves getting selfies, apparently.
Leo, come here. People want to say hello. Leo, up.
Leo DiCapibara. I can't. I just can't. Look how cute they are, you guys. They're
You say hi?
freaking cute.
Can you say good boy?
Look at his little
say hi?
dopey face. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, maybe we should get one.
They're not soft, though. You just need to know that they are not soft.
That's okay. I'd be all right with that because they're so cute.
They're pretty cute, but they're not soft. They're like
Mock is such a softest. She is. Like if it's not soft, she's like, it can't come in my house. That's why I am allowed in her house because I'm pretty soft. I'm pretty soft, you guys. There was a time I was not so soft, but I'm just saying.
This next one is a lab, and clearly whoever the owner of this lab is, they're on vacation, and this guy has this amazing ocean view in front of him, and he's stretched out on one of those glorious hammocks that's overlooking the ocean. And there's even a hammock next to him just for his dog, but he can't relax, and you'll see why.
How nice this afternoon is, and I'm dealing with you. I know I put yours next to mine, so you didn't bother me. Can you just, look, if I let go of this, he's going to... Can you stay in your own place?
I love him.
Please, leave me alone. I'm trying to hang out. Come on.
That is such a chocolate lab.
I have to hold it. If I don't...
So cute.
Can you please leave me alone for a second? No, if you fall, you're gonna get hurt. Stop it. Far out. This is the wall I don't want you to touch. Can you please? You don't need to be with me like touching me the whole time. I can put my hand on you. Just leave me alone. By the way,
He
gorgeous
needs
scenery.
it.
It's a great view.
Just leave me alone. All right, good. That's good. Thank you. Love you, bud.
Doesn't care. Dogs don't care about the view.
Leave me alone, please.
Dogs don't care about the view. Dogs just want to see you. That's all they care about. They don't.
That's
care
all
about the
they care
view.
about.
That is their
Yep.
good view. Mhm.
And then lastly, even though the caption on this video reads that this is a child with autism, I think he actually has Downs. And this is just the sweetest. This boy's getting a haircut and he's got himself a favorite barber who knows exactly how to manage his client. Check this out.
Buddy. Hi. Awesome job, man.
Oh my gosh,
So proud
he's
of you.
so cute.
Now it's up. It's up. It's up.
I freaking love him. Oh my god, so cute. The happiest. Oh, I love him. I know, I love him. Just want to squeeze him.
And those are your talks for today.
Those are great talks, Mont. Really good.
We do have a couple of thank yous that we've gotten this morning on Venmo. Kelly Wiseman says how is it? Fugees. Like
The
reading it
Fugees.
just totally threw me off. The Fugees version of Killing Me Softly is a great remake. Uh-oh. I just lost it. There we go. Is a great remake. However, Alan Ant Farm's version of Smooth Criminal is the best remake ever. Sorry, not sorry, Amy. XOXO.
Okay.
What does that
Yeah.
have to do with Roberta Flack? I don't get
Yeah,
it.
you don't have to be sorry. It's fine. You can. Yeah, I think it's
Is
because I said
Roberta
it was.
Flack
I think I said
right
it was the
Smooth
best remake.
Criminal?
No, I think I said it was the best remake ever, and they were disagreeing with me, and that's okay.
Oh, about remakes in general. Okay,
Totally,
got
right.
it.
Mhm.
Sherry Foth says, FYI, Texas also has a DOGE task force, and property tax reform is one of Governor Abbott's priorities.
Well, he better get on it because I just got my bill yesterday, and I was not happy. Not happy. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
now you.
Laura Kate Baker, Daisy, we love your cows. Thank you. I love them too. I'm gonna have to put some cow. I'll put a cow video out this week because Linus is like in total love mode, and so I'll put that out this week. Samantha Capehart, Vivek for governor, make Ohio great again. That would be great.
He did announce yesterday, like he made a big production, and it's official and it's happening.
It's gonna be great. Shelly Dodson, thank you for the prayers. Love you all. We love you, Pastor Shelly. Love you. You guys send her all the prayers. Stevie J, the things Trump is doing now are the things we voted for in 2016 and didn't get because of politics. Trump is done with the politics and is doing what needs to be done to fix our country. Amen, Stevie.
Yes.
You're so right. Brian Brumley, Trump needs to name you two as dog czars.
Yes. Yes. We could totally do that. We
Yeah,
could
we
choose dogs for each of the government agencies, like the right
Right.
dog for each agency. Because
Be like a
obviously the FBI
mascot.
would have like, the freaking Belgian Malinois, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. The CIA
mean-
would be like, I don't know, Doberman Pinscher.
Like
We would-
they would be the Basset Hounds, right? Like the one that Sherlock
The
Holmes
CIA.
had.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
With
See, this is why we're so good at
See,
this job.
We would be good at this. You're so right, Brian. This is a great idea. I hope that the president is watching right now because that would be great. Robin Dyke, Clint Hill died, age 93, JFK's agent who climbed on the back of the limo in Dallas. A shame he'll miss the files being released. He's been haunted by guilt. If there were 2 to 3 shooters, he's absolved. Mhm.
Interesting.
Right. Stevie J, I can't wait for those files to come out, by the way. All of them.
I know.
need all of them to come out immediately. They can
As long as the FBI hasn't freaking deleted a bunch of crap.
just release the hounds.
Yeah.
Release them. Robin Dyke. I'm sorry, you already talked. It's Stevie J. I don't agree with what Luigi did, but it has put a spotlight on health insurance. United Health is under a huge federal investigation over their business practices. Totally agree. They probably do need to be investigated if they've done stuff wrong and if they've done people wrong, but no one needs to be killed over that. It's just not how we work as a society. Tim Foolery, every Monday morning, I not only report to my boss what I did last week, I outline for him what I'm going to do this week.
Oh,
Go figure.
don't start, Tim. That'll send people absolutely
Yes.
over the edge.
Tim Foolery, that is abusive. Teresa Raimundo, isn't it weird how all these fired anchors, Don Lemon, start looking like Rachel Maddow? P.S. Rachel forgot to say, crap, I'm next. It's true.
We
They
can
all start
only
wearing the
hope.
same glasses. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Those big
Yeah.
blocky, like who is it? The billionaire, the Dallas Mavericks owner. What's his name again?
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. He's wearing everybody's wearing those glasses now. You know, I wear
Mhm.
glasses, but I'm not going to wear those.
Don't.
Wanna. So no, I won't. You guys bring it in. We're bringing it in. Everybody have the best Tuesday ever. And we will talk tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.